Hello, welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. So today I'm going to be creating a card using some of the new products from Cat Scrappiness, along with some of the older products as well. So one of the new products that I'm going to be using is the Heart Balloon Shaker Card Craft Dies. And this one I show in a video on the Cat Scrappiness channel how to use it. So I'm going to use those balloons today. I'm also going to be using the Stitched Scallop Frame Die. I will also be using the Simple Sentiments Valentine version, and there's a die that goes with it. And so this die works for the Valentine Simple Sentiments as well as other Simple Sentiments in the shop. And I'm going to be using the Quokka Love. I'm going to be using this little guy here, this little Quokka on my card. And then here's the dies that go with that as well. And I'm going to be using some of the Crafty Quokka's paper. So to get started, I want to stamp some of the sentiments from the Simple Sentiments, the Valentine version. And I'm just going to stamp the whole sheet, so I'll go ahead and create all of these sentiments. I'll only use one today, but I figure it's best to go ahead and stamp them all, and I will have these on hand as I'm making cards through the Valentine season. So I'm just going to get out my stamping press, and I have a sheet of 110-pound cardstock that I'm going to stamp them on. I'm not worrying that this piece is cut crooked because we're going to cut this out anyway. And so I'm just going to ink up my stamp with the Mementos ink. I'm just stamping them all in black. And this is the first time I've used this stamp. So the first time you use any new stamp, it takes a few stampings to get it conditioned up and ready to go. But I think it stamped really good for the first try. So I'm just going to add a little bit more ink to it and continue to stamp it. And if you'll notice, there's these little crosses on the edge of the stamp. So on each corner there is a little cross, and that's going to help us line the die up. So be sure to ink those little crosses so that you'll have those to line your die up when you go to cut it out. I think this is a really neat way to have your sentiments and have the die so that you can cut out a whole sheet of sentiments. And if you were making a bunch of Valentine's cards, this would be a great way to have your sentiments for the card. Now I am pressing really hard. I struggle a little bit using my stamp press, so I just press really hard to get a good impression. And I think that's looking good. I'm just going to add one more layer of the black ink just so that everything is nice and dark. I'm just going to lightly press over it this time. So here is the die, and this one is the Simple Sentiment die. And there's other sentiments like this in the shop that you can use this die with. I don't have those, but I'm going to have to get them now because now that I have the Valentine one, I really love how this works. So I'm going to cut my paper down first because I don't think it will go through my machine. It may be a little bit too wide. So I'm just going to trim it down so it'll be easier to put this through the die machine. Now you'll see it's going to be very simple to line the die up. So all we have to do is just make sure you have the top or bottom lined up correctly, and then you're just going to line up your crosses, and you can look at all the wording to make sure everything looks pretty even. And I like how it looks, so I'm just going to tape my die to my paper, and then with one little cut going through the machine, we'll have all of these sentiments ready to go. So I sped it up. I skipped over the going through the die machine so that we could go through the video a little bit quicker. Now it did bend my die just a little bit. I may have had too many pieces. I have a new Spellbinder Platinum 6 die cutting machine, so I'm still learning how many layers to layer everything up. And this is very thick cardstock that I'm using, so I may have used one little plate too many. So I'm just going to find the sentiment that I plan on using with today's card before I punch all of these out. And so you can just use your finger to knock all of the little sentiments out. And so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to set these aside. And what I will do is I will put this down in the package with the stamp set so that when I'm needing a sentiment, I'll just pull out the stamp set and I'll see which ones I still have in the package. So I have gone ahead and prepared some pieces for our card. I have a white card base. I've also cut out a piece of the Crafty Quokka paper, and it measures 4 by 5 1/4. I've also cut out the Stitched Scallop Collage frame using the die. I have the 2 shaker hearts, and I show you how to create these on the Cat Scrappiness channel. I have the sentiment that we created together using the Simple Sentiments, and then I have the little quokka from the Quokka Love stamp set that I've gone ahead and colored and cut out. So I'm just going to start out by using my double-sided tape to add my paper to my card base. And I want to make sure that I have my card in the right direction so I'm not gluing it to the back side of it. So I'm just going to center this turquoise paper up on the center of the front of my card base. And then I'm just going to add the frame. To add the frame, I'm just going to use some liquid glue since I think my double-sided tape may be a little too wide for this frame. And I'm just going to center this up on the turquoise paper. I love this turquoise with this green. Both papers are from the Crafty Quokka pack, and I love how they look together. Also, I went ahead and just fussy cut around my little quokka because I was in a hurry when I cut it out and I messed up and I didn't feel like the white was evenly spaced around my little quokka, and I didn't want to do away with that one since I'd already colored it. So I should have slowed down, I know, when I was cutting it. But since I didn't, I just went ahead and used my scissors to fussy cut it out. And I think it's going to look really good on the card this way as well. So I'm just adding some foam tape to the back of him, and I just want to have him popped up since the little heart shakers are kind of thick as well, so that way he's on the same thickness as the balloons. And then I'm just going to attach my balloons by adding a little bit of glue to the back of the heart balloon and just putting him on the front of my card. And it's really that simple. And I will link below to the video on the Cat Scrappiness channel where I show you how to create these little balloons. They're very simple using the dies, and I will link below to all of the products that I'm using today. And these balloons are something new in the shop, but I love how easy they are to use and to create a little shaker by just cutting out the few pieces and you're done. Not any figuring or anything you have to figure out. It's very simple. And then I'm just going to add the little sentiment that we cut out. And you saw how we made those. We made a bunch at one time, which I think is really cool. And I'm using liquid glue on these hearts, as you can tell, because I'm sliding them around until I adjust them where I want them. So by using the liquid glue, it gives you a little bit of time to move them around. And then I'm just going to glue my sentiment down over the little strings that's hanging down from the heart balloons. And there we have our little shaker card for Valentine's. And I really love how this little card turned out. I love all the different colors together using that Crafty Quokka paper pack. I thought looked really good for Valentine's. So here's our little card. It shakes really well. And I hope that you've enjoyed this quick little tutorial. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.